Hello and welcome back to the Perfunctionist channel. So in this week's video, it's probably going to be a bit shorter this week because I'm actually a bit strapped for time, but I wanted to still get some content out for you guys. So I'm going to talk about this guitar for a sec. There's a problem I'm having with it, and the problem is, so there's my volume knob there. The problem I've got is it is kind of sticking a bit. I can turn it, but it just kind of grinds against the not the thread, but it kind of like doesn't really go anywhere. So I think it was my last video, I think I used this guitar, and I did have some problems in that video. I'm not sure if it actually made it onto camera, but I did have some trouble kind of turning the knob. I actually forgot to fix it and had to do a gig with this guitar over the last weekend, and forgot that I hadn't fixed this. So I had to do the gig by just kind of keeping the volume in one place. Managed to get away with it. I did have a spare guitar, so guys, if you can, bring a spare guitar with you when you do these gigs. But I thought I'd just show you how I'm gonna fix this. So if you're having the same problem with a stiff, let's not use the word stiff. So if you're having the same problem with your volume pot and you're finding that it's a bit stuck, then hopefully this video will help you. I'm doing it kind of like as quickly as I can because I'm actually a bit short on time. But in order to do this quick fix, all you need is a lanyard and some switch cleaner or some equivalent to lubricate the pot. Okay, let's jump to a better camera angle. So here's another angle of the problem I'm having. So there's a volume knob. The other ones are fine, they turn perfectly fine. But with the volume knob, it seems to be stuck. I can kind of turn it, but I don't know if you can hear it kind of clicking. It's not clicking there. But it's essentially stuck. I've had this before. I've actually had this replaced once before as well. So this shouldn't really be happening on a very expensive guitar like this. But anyway, let's get to it. So here's my lanyard. I'm going to just wrap it. I'm going to kind of get it underneath the knob. Wrap it round on itself. I'll try to keep my hands out of the way. Oh, okay, that's basically done it. You're basically going to try and wrap it underneath and then kind of pull it out, because sometimes just taking the knob off itself is kind of difficult. Doesn't want to budge. So if you kind of slide this underneath, we're going to use the power of leverage. I guess that's enough, but I usually like to go around a bit more and then kind of just, oh, and it goes flying. So there we go. I can feel it's very loose there. So what I'm going to do is lubricate it with a bit of switch cleaner. Now ideally I want to get inside, I'm going to unscrew the scratch plate, get inside there, but I haven't got time for that. So instead I'm going to get some of this on it. You might think this isn't going to get in there. It kind of will. Again, not as good as getting in there and spraying it from inside, but let's do it from the outside. The other thing I thought to mention is you need a cloth to clean up after yourself. So I'm just going to start trying to turn the knob just to kind of work the liquid in there, and already I can feel it kind of moving. You can see the notch there moving. So I'm just going to turn it all the way around and back again, just to kind of get that liquid to work in there. And I can feel, yeah, yeah, there we go. It's turning again. And that should be it. Just clean up after yourself. Let me grab a cloth. Hold on a second. I'm just going to wipe up this excess mess. Once again, the knob seems to be working. I'm going to put it into the max position. I'm going to use this tone pot for reference for when I put the volume knob back on, and I want to kind of line up the 10 with the tone controls, roughly about here, and then down. And then it should be working the way it's supposed to. And hopefully it should sound right as well, because the problem, I didn't show you this too earlier, but this was affecting the tone as well. So that seems to be fixed. I guess you'll have to do this every now and then. Although on my other guitars I haven't really had to do this, so I'm not sure if there's something wrong with this. If there are any kind of like parts experts out there, let me know if that's a common thing. because I haven't had to do it too much in my guitar playing life. Just every now and then on some guitars, but this one's a bit too. I've done it a bit too often, a bit too many times for me to be comfortable with it, and it has been replaced once as well. So this is actually a replacement pot. So I hope this video has been of help to some of you out there who have had this problem. If you have a better way that can be done quickly, please mention it in the comments below. There are better ways or more efficient ways of doing what I just did, but if you're in a pinch and if you're in a bit of a hurry, this is how you do it. And for me, what stole the show when I first learned it was how to remove the knob part from your pot. So, you know, trying to grab it is kind of doesn't really help, but getting the leverage by using a lanyard I thought was really useful, and I learned that a few years ago. So hopefully you've learned something as well and find that useful. Let's give some shout outs and check out some comments from last week's video. So Rafael Jesus has been asking about using the Helix with a microphone, which is a really interesting thing to ask about, because yes, the Helix floor has a microphone input. I haven't used it yet, but I have thought about doing that. But that would be a nice, interesting thing to check to experiment with. So I thought about using it with maybe if you're doing like a solo guitar performance where you're singing as well, and using the Helix as kind of like a mixer in a way. So would that work? I don't know, maybe I have to try and do the video. One thing I did think about using it for was using it with a talk box. So kind of plugging the talk box, I've got a talk box here somewhere, plugging that into one of the effects loops of the Helix, and then plugging a microphone into the mic input of the Helix and controlling the talk box with the Helix. That might work as well. Rami Murimaki, forgive me if I pronounced your name wrong there, was talking about, was touching on the kind of stereo double track effect, and has brought up the TC Electronic Mimic pedal, which is something that I've been aware of for a while. It's something I've wanted to try out, but I've never managed to try it out. I know the mini version was on sale a little while ago, at least on Anderton's I think it was on sale. I think it was probably on sale on other stores as well. But it was the mini pedal, and that only works in mono, or at least it does the effects in mono, which for most people is probably fine. I'm a bit of a stereo freak, as you've probably seen from my videos, so I would have probably wanted to get the bigger one, which has two outputs, so can be sent to two different amps, or to be fed back into the Helix if you wanted to use it that way in stereo. In that proper stereo, as opposed to kind of mimicking that double tracking effect. That being said, I haven't tried it yet, so maybe the mono would sound perfectly fine. But yeah, I'd love to get hold of the Mimic, maybe even the mini one as well, just to see what it's like. But yeah, that's a good call. Recently, John Petrucci has done a video where he was talking about using the Mimic, and one of his I think the most recent kind of rig rundown that he's done. And if anyone knows about tone and getting good tone, it's John Petrucci. Doug Woods has brought up the something I mentioned in the last video about the snapshot up, kind of the next snapshot. So that was an issue I was having as well. And if my video has helped you, like you said it has, with that issue, brilliant, because it's kind of caught me out a couple of times as well, and may still do so again in the future. But at least I'm aware of it now. I think I've got an idea of how to kind of fix it, and it seems you have too. So brilliant. Mark Leclerc has taken the snapshot stacking video or idea and used it to put all 8 snapshots on the bottom row of his Helix. Brilliant. Now you're taking the information and applying it in a way that is suitable for your needs. That's brilliant. That's that's teamwork. So I don't know, I've set you up and you've batted it out the park, to use an American analogy there, baseball analogy. But yeah, brilliant. I'm glad you guys are finding some of this stuff useful. Please feel free to put any comments in the comment section below, of course, and I will try and chat you out in next week's video. Until then, I hope you have a good week, and I will see you in next week's video. Take care.